Huh? 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 Hey now, and welcome down to KC Toy Reviews. We are here today with SooSoo Toys Cajun Card Dealer. Extremely excited for this one. That's right, Gambit lieth in front of us. Not even sure if that made sense and why I said it, but it's probably just all the built-up excitement because I have been waiting for this one for a while. Yes, there was the sideshow one as well that we had another choice of. However, this is the clear winner of the two in the 1/6 scale arena. And as always, let's go ahead and dive right in. As I mentioned at the intro of this video, there is another Gambit 1/6 scale version out there, and that lies within the sideshow version. Unfortunately, I don't own it, so I don't have a side-by-side of the two. But I think everybody in the community knows, and myself knows, this is the clear winner of the two. Not only is the clear winner, this is probably one of the best 1/6 scale figures I've had in my hands in a long time. Probably one of the highest rated I have, because I already kind of have a rating in mind of this thing that I give out at the end. Probably will be one of the highest I've ever given. The reason being that this is the superior over the two, and the sideshow being the inferior one. The face sculpt immediately between the two is, I mean, they don't even compare. Dare I say the sideshow one reminded me of Stifler from American Pie or a monkey. And I don't want to be too brutal about it, but it's just really what it reminded me of. This one is very comic accurate, and I just think nailed it is almost an understatement. Very rarely do I look at these things and go, holy crap, they nailed it. You know, there's always some flaws or some drawbacks. There's always something that we can kind of gripe about, but very rarely do we get figures in hand that are flawless that are not by Hot Toys. You know, Hot Toys is, you know, obviously has a track record of flawless 1/6 scale. But what is interesting and getting very exciting is that SooSoo Toys is now becoming that quality in the third-party market. Everything they're coming out with is, like I say, not only just high quality, I would define it as next level. They are third party, but I think that that's almost a disgraceful name to give them. You know, they are doing their best, and what they are doing is absolutely amazing, and we have the proof right in front of us with Gambit. Now, I guess with no particular order, right off the bat, I do have two separate videos. I have an unboxing video, and I have this review video where I kind of just ramble and talk about this guy, right? The only reason I mention that in the way of accessories, I want to say that I've never seen a 1/6 scale come with as many pairs of hands as this guy came with. It was like 15 pairs of hands or something like that. So you get one set of kinetic kind of power hands, or not one set, I'm sorry, one whole, you know, section of those, and then you get a regular section of hands to choose from. So something like 15 pairs, ridiculous, the most I've ever seen. I'm just gonna say 35 pairs of hands. It was something ridiculous. Check out my unboxing video, and you will see how many pairs of goddamn hands this guy comes with. But in the way of accessories, the hands, I guess we'll consider them accessories. Normally I wouldn't, but because we have a set that are all kinetic powered, I mean, and we have 15 pairs of them, they're officially accessories. We do have the, I whacked him in the head. We do have the Power Blast hand here, so you can kind of see the hand there. Cool thing is that actually gets pegged right onto the hand there, versus some type of accessory that he holds. So that actually officially pegs on there and is a hand piece, and then you can put all the card pieces. Now I'll show you the cards in a moment. The downfall about the cards is that they need to be adhesived or tacked on here somehow. So I was a little bit shocked at that route. I'm not going to knock them too much, and the reason being, before we go to the next accessory, is 3,200 cards that came with this thing. I mean, there's so many cards. I can remember Jokers that I've gotten from Sideshow that came with maybe 2. These guys gave us an entire sheet of these things that we can pop out at our leisure. Kudos, SooSoo, for the way you've handled the cards on this thing. It makes sense because they are, in a sense, disposable at this point. If you've given me this many, I now feel confident that I might be able to screw one up or tack one on there. I might never see it again, but I have so many replacements that I'm confident that I can do that. So, amazing system. And after that accessory, we have the twirling hand. Think of him just kind of holding this, and then you can put a bunch of cards that twirl around this accessory, so you can see all the flat card spots that you are supposed to put the cards there. Similar situation, you need to tack them on there or adhesive in some route to get them on there, but yeah, pretty cool, like twirling little tornado effect with the cards here. And the other piece we have here is a little hair piece. We have swappable hair pieces, so rather than have 2 head sculpts, we can swap the hair piece out. So the way we do that is a very simple magnet system. So you have that, and then this one kind of like stretched it and flexed it out a little. And it's that easy. This head sculpt, I feel like I've changed out the whole head sculpt, which is cool that they made me feel like that. This hairpiece is, it's decent. However, the other one, in my opinion, is just way classic Gambit, and I feel like that represents what I want on my shelf and probably about 90% of the other people out there. Not knocking it if you like the other hairpiece, and it's amazing that we have these interchangeable pieces, but man, that just looks badass right there. I wanted to zoom in a little bit here and also just take a minute to say, wow, what a fantastic job they did with the details on the chest piece. The tiny little circles, it has kind of a gradient look to it. Just the paint application overall is stunning. Very high level detail on that, and even the pants and stuff as you look at it. They just did a really good job. And again, one last time to pause. Look at the weathering on the leather. They really knocked it out of the park with the details on this guy. The fact that we can zoom in on this for the price point and say, wow, what a great job. And you know what? While we're on price point, I just want to quickly mention I picked this up from KG Hobby, and what a fantastic experience. Not only is it stellar customer service, it's stellar pricing, and it is stellar shipping. I was stunned, actually, how fast I got this, given the current situation with shipping and stuff. And whether it was good luck or bad luck, I just want to say I got this so goddamn fast. I was truly stunned, and it was kind of the normal free shipping that they offer over there. I'm going to put the link down below for KG Hobby because I just want to give a shout out to those guys. They are absolutely phenomenal. Can't stress enough. He was the cheapest at KG Hobby over everybody. And I remember when the pre-orders came out for this guy, I kind of went the gauntlet. I could be lying when I say this. I thought I got this guy for $156 or $186, something within that $20 realm there. But it was by far the cheapest price, and just want to say shout out to those guys. It's probably out of excitement because of how fast I got them. But KG Hobby, woo woo, link below. So wow, as we zoom out again, this thing is absolutely stellar. As a longtime fan, somebody that grew up watching the cartoon on the weekends, I'm not sure if I'm the only one that sees this, and then the song is actually running through your head as you're looking at this figure. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. We're talking about that old school cartoon show, the classic X-Men theme song that went with these amazing characters. They are reviving that show for Disney Plus, so I just kind of want to throw that out there. absolutely ecstatic, and I am pretty sure we are going to hear that theme song again as an intro, so we're going to relive it. At that point, I can imagine this thing, and I mean it, this is probably going to be $600, $700. I mean, it's already in the groups like $400. I see people trying to sell it for $450 as I'm doing a review for it. Usually you have months after the fact to decide whether you want these things, so this thing just kind of flew off the shelves. And there's every reason why, because it's amazing. You should have grabbed it ahead of time. This is why pre-orders are a real thing sometimes. I think some of us do take it for granted. However, with this guy, thank God I pre-ordered it. The suit is pleather/leather-ish. The reason I kind of segue with that is articulation on these guys will damage the material after a while. I'm not saying don't do it, because obviously people are pulling off these pictures that are freaking crazy. But I'm not one to really do crazy stuff, but he has decent articulation all the way through. You could probably do a split in these pants. Obviously, there's going to be no torso, midsection joint area here because of this hard plastic piece, like a lot of other 1/6 scales does. So that's something to note. And then the arms, I wouldn't say they're stiff-ish, but you have a jacket over them, so consider this as you're looking at articulation-wise. But as you can see in the video and stuff, you can get some decent poses with this, guys. And if you go through the groups, if you go through social media, wow, people are pulling off poses that are blowing my mind. So kudos to everybody out there, the artistic look and people that they're putting into this, and their time is just absolutely amazing. And then we do have a wire in the jacket here. One thing to note, the wire was very weak. I was kind of shocked. I tried to do a couple little poses, and maybe it wasn't supposed to be an insane wiring pose. However, this compared to some of the Hot Toys Batman capes, they have a very heavy wire in there. It is something to point out. Had a very weak wire that went down through it. On top of the wiring, there is some weathering effects that you can see. Let's just kind of bring them up right there. Interestingly enough, I wasn't sure if this was real or not when I saw pictures prior to getting them in hand. Clearly, it's something that they've added to there, but how stellar is that we have this amazing leather-ish jacket, and then we have some weathering. They went next level to kind of add some extra layers and dimension to it. So, wow, kudos again to the team over there. The sideshow version went with I don't even know what that, I'm bad with materials. It went with another type of material, a regular cloth-ish type material. And the reason I note that is this is a fake leather, pleather-ish material that probably could deteriorate over time depending on your climate. So something to always take into account as you're figuring out, well, do I want the sideshow version of this one? Of course you want this one. But it's something to always note. There are slight differences between the two. All right, and as we start to round this out and slap a score on this guy, a couple last little notes. They do come with a great stand. I gotta point out, I watched some other guy's review the other day, and he was saying something like, oh, looks like a cheaper stand that comes with it, not that good, blah, blah, blah. I want to say that comment was absolutely false. The SooSoo stands, SooSoo, whatever the hell we want to call them, they have the best stands on the market right now that are included with your 1/6 scale. I mean, you have a lot of companies, for starters, that are not even included them, which makes no sense. But SooSoo does include a stand, and not only do they include it, it is a very high-quality stand. The bottom here is very sturdy. It has some decent weight to it. And then the peg piece actually screws into it, as opposed to the Hot Toy ones that kind of like push into it. I don't know, if you've been collecting a while, I gotta say this. You've definitely had a scenario where you have picked it up by the peg, and when I picked it up before, the peg pulled out and the guy just dropped. And everybody's going, why the hell would you do that, blah, blah, blah. When you've been collecting over 10 years, you get lazy at points, and you've transported them. I've moved a bunch of times. I've done some stuff. The pegs have popped out and I've dropped them. Hence why this is better. If I did it on this and it was screwed in, I would have never dropped it. So SooSoo would have saved me in those situations. The Hot Toy ones, not so good. I'm sure it is hollow, but the base also, it feels more sturdy. It has a little bit more weight to the base as opposed to the Hot Toy ones, especially their standard ones that are obviously a generic stand out there that feel hollow to them, and you have to kind of jam that plastic crotch grabber into the back of it. So anybody saying that these guys don't have a good stand is wrong. They have the best stands on the market. They're a third-party company, and I'm saying that. You have official licensed company out there that come with crappier stands with your 1/6 scale. These guys are the king of the stands. Another thing to mention, I've seen other 1/6 scale companies include two different styles of grabbers, per se. It would include one that's a waist grabber. Again, you can kind of slide down just like we could do on this one. And then you can slide it off and slide another one down that is kind of just a crotch grabber on there. The reason I mention that is this thing probably will most likely cause damage over time. And overall, I mean, as we pause one last time, I think there are almost zero flaws to this thing. SooSoo uses amazing 1/6 scale body types. They always feel like almost World Box style. This one didn't necessarily, it's not knocking them or anything, so I don't know if this is different, if I'm crazy, if they're using different stuff every time. But it still was a sturdy feeling body, and it felt higher quality than they normally do. This is probably literally the only knock, as I'm looking at it. I wish there was some way to weather or steam, iron and get that thing to hang down. It has a very stiff look to it. It's probably the dumbest thing to gripe about, and it's nothing that I'm actually irritated about, but it's something to kind of note as he's spinning around. But yeah, I think that's it for us here. Score-wise, I've had it in my chest as I've been talking about this guy the whole time. I don't think I'm being biased just because I love X-Men. I love what these guys are doing, but I did like what Sideshow did. So it's not just about this company. But what they did do is phenomenal. So with that said, one of the highest scores here at KC Toys, a 9.3 out of 10. I mean, I don't know what the hell these guys could have done better. Our scoring system and the way I say scoring, I got to say, if it's a 10, you're saying it's the best 1/6 scale or figure or whatever, high-end collectible ever made. Is this the best ever made? I don't know if anybody could confidently say that, so it's not a 10. But it's a 9.3 out of 10. It's right there. It's an A freaking plus. Or is that an A plus or an A minus? Probably somebody can correct me. It's an A minus maybe, but it's an A. That's all that matters. 9.3 out of 10. SooSoo, SooSoo, KC, Gambit, X-Men. See you guys later. Huh?